not on.
One of y'all gonna open it up, whatever.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Today in L.A. I'm Forrest Lee, and this is Bill Rice, and on the phone we have Mike Amos calling from Panama City Beach. We got a great show lined up for you. There was a great weekend for college sports and high school sports, and got some reports on some activities going on this week as far as it relates to athletics. Welcome, Mike. How are you doing?
Doing great. It's still overcast weather down here. The sun would have been out, but right now it's overcast weather, a little cool out there, but it is the beach, and it is beautiful. We got some rain this morning during the night, and it was raining a while ago. I can hear it on the rooftop.
Took the trash out to the street, and yep, I got a lot of rain on me. I went and got the umbrellas out of the car when I took the trash out, and then my Jack, Maggie, and Carrie will soon be going out into that, and I brought them an umbrella too.
Yeah.
With
is it rain forecast for the day or what?
I guess I'm forecasting 100% chance of rain right now. Bill Rice.
That's right. Yeah. It's already 100% chance of rain. But it is Troy, Alabama, where we're coming from. Of course, I'm coming from Panama City Beach, and Mike Amos is coming up soon from Great Beach, Florida. And then, of course, Forrest and Lee coming in here from bright and early, and of course, Bill Rice Jr. from Troy. So we're heading for a beautiful day.
Yeah.
So
here we got Mike calling.
Well, let's see, I put him on hold.
What is your temperature up there? Do you know?
Let's see. Hold on. Hello, young Michael.
Yeah, morning.
Good morning.
That was not enough enthusiasm there. Let's have a little chipper.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
Good morning. And
Sorry, I was pouring wine and at an event at Rose and Croquet yesterday. I was watching a lot of important people play croquet, which is a really fun sport to watch.
well, today is
I haven't played.
Was that down at Drayton? Where was it located?
No, that was down in Alice Beach wine festival.
Who is the folks that you saw?
And they were really playing. They were playing croquet.
Yeah, everybody's dressed in white. It's called rose and croquet, so they're drinking rose wine while they play croquet.
Did you wear white?
Yeah, I did.
Well, good.
But we had a fun event. It was a good time. Had
I bet everybody has had a croquet set when they're about 8 years old.
I still have one.
But I remember in college once or twice some funny guys got out a croquet set, but I don't think I've seen anybody play croquet since then.
What today?
I wouldn't know how to score.
I have to read the rules.
It's a game that's supposed to be plain and simple, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, there was, today is National Margarita Day and National Cook a Sweet Potato Day, according to the calendar.
I had a baked potato in my oven within the week.
Let me ask you this, Forrest. Is there a day that is not an official day,
Probably
like National Nothing Day?
Yeah, there was 2 or 3. There might be, but I hadn't found it on the calendar yet. But the Lady Trojans of Charles Henderson play today at 1 o'clock at Garrett Coliseum against another local team, the Carroll High Lady Eagles. The winner will advance to the Final Four in Birmingham. The Luverne Lady Tigers will play this Friday at 1 o'clock against St. Luke's. If they win, they will advance to the Final Four. And the only other local team we have are the Enterprise boys team. They will play Mary of Montgomery out of Mobile this Friday at 11 a.m. And all those games will be at Garrett Coliseum. The winners advance to the state tournament championship in Birmingham, Alabama.
Pregunta.
That'll start next week. Is that right?
Well, the games are today for Charles Henderson.
But
yes, sir.
and Birmingham would be
Yeah.
next week.
Yeah, the following week.
Did y'all hear me? Preguntas? That's a question in Espanol.
You know, Charles Henderson's girls are you know, I reckon they're one of the top 2 or 3 programs in the entire state of bar classification. Wouldn't you say?
That's right. I want to congratulate Miss
Yeah,
Danisha
the last
Jones.
couple of years.
They're like 15-2 at this time, and they played Carroll, you know, previously this year. I don't know what the record.
They have the Nick Saban standard of excellence. Not only have they had championship seasons, they're consistently competing for championships. So that's very rare. But anyway, who is St. Luke? That was my
They're out of
question.
Mobile. They're a private school out of Mobile.
Is that's not the school that Rivers is going to coach at in Fairhope?
No.
No.
And Jackson West, our wrestler who went to Huntsville to wrestle in the 5A state championships, first wrestler we've had to participate. He lost his 2 matches, but congratulations to Jackson. He's a junior and
He made it up to the
he
state.
made it up there. And his coach is John Townsend and Taylor Pope, so I wanted to mention them as well.
Mike, did you ever wrestle in high school?
No, I've never wrestled. How about you, Mike? You little Mike.
No.
They used to.
You wrestled
I coached it for 3 years in Georgia at
I
another
might
school.
have put somebody in a figure 4 leg lock, just trying to, emulate my hero Ric Flair.
What they used to do back in the days before weightlifting was real big is the football players in the off season often wrestled. My dad did at University of Alabama, and you know he's like me. He hated it, but because it's so grueling. But many people, even if they weren't on a wrestling team, they wrestled in for off-season workouts in football. Yeah.
Well, we coached.
Troy lost the coach yesterday. I mentioned when Jeff Malzahn got the Central Florida job, but Troy's coaches could be on the move. And Brian Blackman, the special teams coordinator, former Opelika Hospital coach, is now the special teams coordinator at Central Florida. So Chip Lindsey's going to have to find somebody to replace Blackman. Of course, Blackman's brother Ben is the head coach of Spanish sports, and he's done a great job down there. Played for a lot of state championships. I don't know what Lindsey will do as far as he'll hire from within or hire from outside.
No, that's a big job now. That's a very important job. And does this person call the plays, or does the
No,
coach call the plays?
he's a special teams coordinator.
Right.
Oh, okay. So now who?
The kicking game, and
Yeah, I know. But
run
now,
up and kick.
who calls the plays for Troy? Do you know? Is it the head coach or who?
Oh, yeah, Chip Lindsey calls the play.
All right. So the head coach calls the plays.
Yeah, but Blackman was an analyst at Auburn under Malzahn, so he had a previous relationship.
Well, who was
He
the?
coached for Spence McCracken for 14 years at Opelika Hospital.
Did both Blackman boys play at Troy, or which one played at Troy, or both of them?
Well, they both did. I think they were
Brian,
quarterbacks.
The one that coaches.
Yeah. Brian played at
in high
UNA.
school down there.
Brian played 1 year at UNA with Chip Lindsey. They both played there 1 year, I think is what I read. And then Brian came back to Troy with a Sigma Chi. And then his brother Ben was a walk-on quarterback.
And a Sigma
That's
Chi.
right. He played a little bit. Ben played a little bit at quarterback.
Yeah, and mop-up dude.
Y'all want me to wait on this schedule to give you the Troy schedule? Do y'all want to wait and see on this, or do you want me to give it to you? Right
Go ahead and give it to us if you're ready, if you feel it.
Okay, they open at home. Now, I'm not going to give you.
This is the Troy University schedule for this fall season.
That's
football.
Right. I'm not giving any dates or anything, but this is the schedule in order. They open up with Southern University in Troy. Then the next week they play Liberty, the Liberty Baptist at home at Veterans Stadium. And then on the third week is Southern Miss on the road at Southern Miss.
It's not a bad trip.
The next game, the fourth game of the season, has Troy traveling to South Carolina. That'll be a fun game. I think Troy might win that game. And then back home with Appalachian State, then Coastal Carolina on the road, Georgia Southern at home. I think I've got that right. I'm gonna have to double check it. And then Georgia State on the road. Then back home against Louisiana Lafayette at home, and then then back on the road again with Louisiana Monroe. Then comes USA South Alabama, and then they finish up the season away at Texas State.
Hey, Michael, I was telling you.
That's unofficial, but I think in consecutive order.
Yeah. I was telling your dad earlier before the show started, Michael, that I met Taylor Powell yesterday, the quarterback transfer from Missouri. He and his girlfriend were playing golf yesterday at the country club in Brundage. And
Did he have good taste for girlfriends? Did he have good taste for girlfriends?
I would say yes. But anyway, they're nice people. He's excited to be in Troy, and she is will be graduating from the University of Arkansas in health and physical education, and she's looking for a job in this area starting next fall. And
was he the backup at Missouri last year?
Well, he started as an understudy under Drew Locke, and but then he
didn't play last year. He played the whole year.
Yeah. But
okay.
He's about 21 years old, I think.
Yeah, he didn't play. He sat out for COVID. He didn't want to play for the COVID.
All right, so he did not play against Troy last year.
Troy didn't play him last.
They didn't play Missouri last year.
They didn't.
That was 2 years ago.
He played against Troy the year before.
Okay, I got you.
Troy couldn't play anybody last year. The only big game they played was BYU.
Yeah. All right. How about how many years does he have to play?
2.
This year. How many years does he have to play?
2.
This quarterback.
He has 2 years.
All right, 2 years. That's what I wanted to know.
That schedule is a great home schedule, Mike. You say we've got Appalachian State at home, Louisiana Lafayette, everybody knows them now. South Alabama, our big rival. Georgia Southern, the big rival. I love that home schedule.
And yeah, I do too. I think it's going to be a great home schedule. No question about it. We've got Liberty.
And Liberty now because of Hugh Freeze. Everybody knows Liberty.
Terry Bowden, Monroe.
You got 2 of the best coaches in the non-power 5. You got to go against Billy Napier and Louisiana Lafayette. I don't know how he didn't get a big time job, and then Freeze, had a big time job, and then kind of lost it on his own. But
Terry Bowden.
Yeah.
Is it Monroe?
Terry Bowden too.
Terry Bowden and Monroe. That's going to make that game interesting.
Yeah, Rich Rodriguez is off in the
There's not there's not a weakling other than maybe Southern University. Southern University, Troy should handle them without any problem. But other than that, that is every game they play is going to be tough.
It's a tough league, boy. And that's the Sun Belt is tough, buddy.
I know you're right. All right, let's go down the line here. All right, Troy against Southern, they should beat Southern, don't you think?
Yes.
All right, that's one win. Then they play Liberty Baptist at home. What do y'all think there, Mike?
I think they won't be able to stop Malik Willis in that offense. I'll take Liberty.
I'll
the former Auburn quarterback plays quarterback at Liberty. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Liberty went 11-1.
They went 11-1. So you say they'll lose? Troy will lose to them?
Yeah, I don't think Troy would be able to score enough points to beat them.
Now, let me ask you this, Mike. Who plays Liberty Valance in the movie The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance?
Lee
what was his name?
Marvin.
Shoot.
Marvin.
Forrest got it. Lee Marvin.
Lee Marvin.
All right, wait a minute. Y'all saying Lee Marvin, but I always thought it was the guy that played.
Well, Jimmy Stewart didn't shoot him. John Wayne shot him from the distance.
That's right. Everybody thought that Jimmy Stewart shot him, but no, it was John Wayne that shot Liberty Valance.
All right. Everybody pretty much likes Liberty.
He was?
Then, of course, going to Southern Mississippi is going to be a tough game, too. I'd say Troy's going to win that one.
I do, too.
That's the way I look at it.
Troy's got 21 of 22 starters back. Liberty had their great year last year. We're going to be playing at home, be a big crowd. Troy will win.
Oh, boy, that's going to be a big one. All right, South Carolina, all right, Southern Mississippi, as we mentioned, everybody thinks Troy will win.
That's a toss-up game to me. I mean, Southern Miss and Troy probably have the same amount of talent, and
yeah,
you know they got a brand new coach at Will Hall at Southern Miss. That's won everywhere he's been. Great offensive coordinator, Tulane.
Yeah, you're right.
I think Troy will have a hard time beating them. I see Troy losing possibly 3 in a row to Liberty, Southern Miss, and South Carolina.
That's what I got.
They got Appalachian State, Coastal Carolina, and Georgia Southern. I mean, Georgia State. They got a chance to lose about 6 games in a row.
I don't know what makes y'all think these players are great that are coming back. They went 5 and 6.
Yeah, that's
5 and 7 the year before.
Yeah, that's the old joke. We got good news and the bad news. The good news is we got 21 players coming back. The bad news is we got 21 players coming back.
And everybody else has 21 players coming back.
Yeah.
Everybody else players coming back.
The same group of players that beat East Carolina, one AA school, won a 48-yard field goal in a miracle.
Yeah.
To beat East Carolina.
But they almost beat Coastal. They should have beat Coastal Carolina. That was a top 12 team.
All right, let's just say this. Troy will beat Southern Mississippi. Then they've got a shot, a 50-50 shot against Liberty, Southern Miss, South Carolina, Appalachian State, Coastal Carolina, Georgia Southern. What did you say? And then maybe, Georgia State, and then Louisiana. This is an unreal schedule, y'all. Louisiana Monroe is the only. I think they'll beat Louisiana Monroe, and the conference and South Alabama another toss-up, and then they'll beat Texas State because they do every year. Only one, maybe 2 sure. I'm not saying sure wins. None of them are sure, but
I got them going 3 and 9.
3 and 9.
3 wins right there.
I picked them to go undefeated last year. I was just a year off. I think that if they could beat Liberty, they beat Southern Miss, then they got momentum, then they have the season like Coastal Carolina had. Yeah. Troy could have a season like Coastal Carolina.
This is going to be a great year. And Liberty, Southern Miss, South Carolina, Appalachian State, Coastal Carolina, Georgia Southern, Georgia State, Louisiana. Those games in consecutive order. And then they come back and they play La Monroe, they play their arch rival South Alabama, and then go to Texas State. What a schedule. Man, what a schedule. And it's going to be great football in Troy, Alabama.
I think here's the way you do it. Appalachian State fell down a little last year, so that helps us. Plus, we have them at home. I think Louisiana Monroe loses a lot of players. They had unless they all come back, which they might with this COVID rule, but they had a senior-dominated team, so they won't be as good. Georgia Southern's, that game's always a toss-up, so we can certainly beat them at home. Y'all got to have some faith and optimism.
Well, I have optimism, but I'm just saying these are teams in a row that could beat Troy. Every one of them going to be sort of a toss-up.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If all else fails, you just make a call 3 hours down the road. Josh Shores Hospital coaching staff will just come take the Troy job. You got Mark Huston, Vic Toning, and Kenny Edenfield. They can all just come to Troy.
Which one of those guys should we offer to come back to Troy? I think that's where they could come from.
I'd take Vic Toning in a heartbeat.
overall in
they were
conference.
bragging about winning 6 in a row before this losing streak started.
Yeah. We finished
I mean,
with
they weren't even competitive. I watched both games a little bit on ESPN Plus. And man, it could have been a lot worse. They were actually none of them were close. They were down by 20 in both games.
and they
Usually when you play a team back to back, you kind of know what they're going to do that next game.
we play Coastal this weekend at home. The men do Friday at 6, Saturday at 4, and the women they're rolling. They're 13-2 overall. No, 17-5 overall, 13-2 in the conference. They defeated Georgia State 79-60, and also 84-78, and they will travel to Coastal this Friday and Saturday. So the women are rolling.
Who's the team to beat in the women? I mean, I know Troy is.
Troy, Louisiana
got a great
Lafayette's got a
team,
good team, but I'd say between Louisiana Lafayette and Troy University women.
And Louisiana Lafayette they have won national championships in women's basketball, haven't they? Or top four, Final Four.
Yeah.
Why can women's basketball be successful at Troy, not the men? I just don't understand it.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, they have not done. What would you say? Average? They just an average team or below average?
Well, they won 9 games last year. They've only won 10 this year.
Yeah.
We're 7-2.
They completely redid their roster, and I mean that's common in basketball now. I don't get it. College basketball, it's just that turnover is massive on rosters. So they had transfers coming in and out left and right, and then they got tons of freshmen. The good news is they're young. I mean, their roster is full of freshmen and sophomores and juniors. So maybe that bodes well for the future.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I know Charleston is an even winning coach. He won six times at Texas Arlington. He won 20 games. So it's not that he doesn't know how to win, Coach.
Is the freshman still out, Mike, or did he?
Yeah, he's back. He scored 15 on Saturday, so maybe that'll help him good.
Well, I tell you, I hate to see that, but it's fun to look at Troy Athletics now. Tell us about baseball. They were Youngstown State beat them for the game yesterday, but Troy won 3 out of 4 games.
Friday night we won 10-4. Saturday we won 2 games 8-2, 13-6, and we lost yesterday 4-2. Over the weekend, Logan, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, Logan Kermey had 3 home runs, 2 doubles, and 7 RBIs. 7 RBIs for the weekend.
Got a home run hitter, Mike.
Clay Stearns, he hit 3 home runs. Logan did. Clay Stearns hit 2 home runs over the weekend. 1 triple and had 5 RBIs. And we play at home. On the schedule, when I first put it out, we were supposed to play at UAB, but I believe we're playing at home tomorrow against UAB. And that should be.
So they switched around a little bit, and they're going to play UAB in Troy tomorrow. That'd be a great game.
And we play at home this weekend against Jacksonville in a 3-game set.
Jacksonville State?
Jacksonville out of Florida, I think, not Jack State.
You know, it's interesting. Troy scored runs all weekend and didn't just get shut down on Sunday. I'm just surprised. I know Coach Mark's got to be surprised. You would think Youngstown State had no pitching left. And found somebody that came out and must have pitched a miracle game for them to get one win.
What that time the score was? 4-2?
4-2.
I mean, I think Troy was in double figures in every other game they played.
Right. The women in softball, they're 8-1 now. In the first game, they defeated Western Carolina 9-1. In the second game Friday, they defeated Mercer 12-4. Saturday, they defeated Western Carolina 4-0, and Mercer yesterday 9-1. Austin Peay withdrew from the tournament, so the ladies are 8-1. And this Wednesday, they will play a doubleheader against Samford. First game at 4 and the second game at 6. So We have a home baseball game Tuesday and one Wednesday in softball, doubleheader in softball.
Wonderful.
So-
I'm gonna try to get over there and see that those girls play there. They must be really good. I know they've got great pitching, but now they've got some good offensive material.
And
Well, you know, in softball, in baseball, you need 2 or 3 pitchers. In softball, you really need about 1. The pitchers can pitch so many times. So if you got one dominating pitcher,
Baseball, y'all got any scores from high school baseball?
I do. The Charles Henderson baseball team finished the weekend 2-1. Chase Smart won his first game as head coach for Troy
Great.
for the Trojans. Friday night they defeated Ayrton 11-5, and in that game,
Good game.
Darrell Lee hit 2 home runs. Ben,
That's that center fielder now. Tell me, they say this guy is really good.
he was injured last year. I think he hurt his knee or something last year, earlier in the year. Ben Reeves hit a home run. Like I said, Darrell Lee hit 2 home runs, and Bailey Sparrow.
Somebody told me he is a big-time player, this Lee kid.
Right, and Bailey Sparrow had 3 hits. They defeated Ayrton 11-5 on Friday. Then they defeated Clark County 8-2, and then they lost to Jackson 6-2. This Tuesday,
He's always pretty good.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
This Tuesday, tomorrow, they'll travel to Stanhope Elmore, and will play a JV and a varsity game. I talked to a couple of the parents last night for baseball and softball. The Lady Trojans finished 3-3. They're very excited to be back on the field. Their coach is Kadeja Neely, a Troy University softball player that played at Troy. I think she's originally from Roanoke, Alabama.
she's a friend of my wife. She teaches in the English department too.
That's right,
Yeah, they played in the Brubaker tournament in Montgomery. Madison Stewart, who's a junior, was 12 of 14 for the tournament.
My God.
On Saturday, she was 11 of 11 with 2 home runs. Mackenzie Kane had 4 home runs over the weekend. 2 of those were grand slams. She is let's see, I think she's either I think she's an 11th grader. Their pitchers are Stella Gilbreth, an 11th grader. Hannah Sparrow is a 10th grader. Olivia Kirkpatrick is a 10th grader, and Molly Garrett is a 9th grader, and they will host Pike Road tomorrow
All right.
in Troy. So they're off to a great start. They're very excited, and I did not get any results from Pike Liberal Arts. I couldn't find any.
Well, I know they won their first game per Elizabeth Stallworth on Facebook. Her son got the win, the pitcher.
Walker.
And then they tied that second game.
And then I don't know what the results were for the rest of the weekend.
Tied a baseball game?
They didn't finish it. It was tied when the game was called.
Does that even count?
I don't know.
But today,
it probably doesn't.
Hey, Pike Liberal Arts plays Glenwood at Troy University today at 5. Glenwood versus Pike Liberal Arts today at 5 on the campus of Troy University. And
It's 100% chance for rain here today. Y'all not getting rain?
Yeah.
well, they're scheduled to play.
It's still overcast right now.
Yeah.
The sun is not up. The sun is not up.
Yeah. And today the tennis team is supposed to open up for Pike Lib against Hooper at home, and the golf team is supposed to play today at noon against several teams. And their softball team.
Look, and of course, I'd love to get Luverne and Brantley and get their schedules and let everybody know who's playing who. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Well, listen, we're going to take a short break. We want to thank our.
Long High School of Skipperville is on our card.
Yes, sir. We're going to take a short break, Michael. It's about 7:30. We want to thank our sponsors, Ideal Graphics, of course, Premier Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Troy, Alabama, and Troy Bank and Trust, and there are 14 locations, Southeast Alabama Gas District, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Our history is woven with the stories of those we serve. At Max, we've been a good community partner for 65 years. Max is dedicated to providing dependable financial services and to supporting our communities. We volunteer our time and share our resources. As a credit union, we've returned millions of dollars back to our members, local nonprofits, and small businesses. Max is honored to be a part of your story. We look forward to serving you for years to come.
Hi, Sandy. I'm right here. Come on in.
Daddy, I'm right here. Miss Mary, I'm right here. I'm right here.
Since 1969, we've been right here because at Troy Regional Medical Center, we take these words to heart.
I'm right here.
Thank you. Remarkable people, remarkable care.
Here at Bill Jackson Chevrolet in Troy, we've been doing business the right way for 31 years. But don't take our word for it. We feel our customers express it the best.
Been honest in everything we've discussed with them.
When they say Jackson satisfaction, they really mean it.
The Jackson satisfaction is real.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. To Today in LA, I'm Forrest Lee, and this is Bill Rice. And on the phone we have Amos calling from Panama City Beach, and his son Michael calling from Grayton Beach.
And they are getting ready for a spring break right around the corner in Grayton Beach and Panama City Beach.
Yeah, I don't even know if they're even waiting anymore. There's so many people down here on 30A at Alice and Rosemary, and Seaside was packed, Grayton Beach was packed. I think a lot of people are already down here, it seems like.
Yeah. What do you think? You think spring break has started in some states already?
I don't know. It's like everybody from Louisiana was down here this weekend. Louisiana tags everywhere.
Yeah, this is the last week in February. Is that right?
Yeah.
So spring break is starting to happen. It's starting to happen everywhere now down here.
You know, they will have spring break about the time those next rounds of stimulus checks happen, which they're debating in Congress right now, which are going to be a lot bigger this time. So yeah, that's going to impact a lot of people's decision on on whether to go to the beach or not.
We're going to give you the money so you can go to the beach.
That's what they want people to do with it, is spend it at the hotel and condo and bars and gas stations.
Want to mention the Sanford Bulldogs lost their first football game of the spring. Sanford lost to East Tennessee State University 24-17. So I know James Lucas out there would probably like to know that score. And spring football here, Austin Peay, who had 3 games during the regular season against Division I competition, fell to Tennessee Tech yesterday, 27-21. So who is in 1AA football? Austin Peay lost to Tennessee Tech yesterday, 27-21.
Okay. Is Jacksonville State playing in this deal, or what's their deal?
Maybe they decided not to play in the spring, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, that's weird that Austin Peay played in the fall, and now here they are playing in the spring too. I think North Dakota State's played 1 game in the fall, and they're playing in the spring again.
Mike, I heard rumor that Jacksonville State's trying to get into another conference, or maybe trying to start a league.
Yeah, the Atlantic Sun is going to start football, so they're going to play out the Atlantic Sun conference.
Also, Tennessee.
They're going to add Kennesaw State and some other schools.
Yeah. Tennessee State. Tennessee released Dylan Brooks, and now Dylan Brooks has committed to Auburn. You know, he was a 4-star defensive end linebacker out of Roanoke, I believe, but he will be an Auburn Tiger, and I know Auburn is tickled to have him.
Was he already at Tennessee, or was he?
He had signed an intent, and he wanted a release after all that mess.
And they gave it to him.
And they released him. And
well, good for Coach for Auburn to get that.
Another
good one, good recruit.
Another side note that I read this weekend, a kid by the name of Caleb Pendleton from Florida Atlantic University. His first 2 collegiate at-bats in baseball, he hit 2 grand slams. His first 2 at-bats.
That's never happened, I
Caleb
guarantee you.
Pendleton. So I thought I'd throw that out there. And that's pretty neat.
Not too.
You know what? If I was on the team, when the next time he came up, I'd walk it. I don't care who was on base.
He popped up the next 2 times and struck out the last time. But
Oh, did he? Okay.
yeah. I've got some more information about Quinn Hambright, the new head coach at Charles Henderson. Of course, he played at Central of Hayneville as a defensive back, and he earned a spot in the North-South All-Star game in 2006. He played for Mike DuBose at Millsaps College.
He did play for Coach DuBose.
Then he transferred to Huntington and played under Mike Turk. His
Played
first,
under Mike
Let's get Coach Turk on the phone. We'll find out all we need to know.
then he interned at Prattville in 2012, at Carver 2013 and 2014. He was a defensive coordinator at Hillcrest Evergreen 2015-2016.
Good program there, too.
Then he went to his alma mater, who had been 1-9 for 2 years in a row. His first and only year at his alma mater, he was 2-8. Then he took over as defensive coordinator at Carver of Montgomery. Now he's the new head coach at Charles Henderson High School, replacing Brad McCoy, who resigned last month. So good luck to Coach Hambright. I think the future is bright at Charles Henderson. He's very excited.
Let's get him on the line. Let's get him on our show. Forrest, you can do it if anybody can do it.
Yes, sir. And I'll work on that and see if I can get him.
I wonder if since he played at Huntington, I wonder if and he was a defensive back, he might have played for Derek Ansley, who was a coach at Huntington for a long time.
He was at Derek Ansley was at Huntington for a while.
Yeah, for 6 years.
Yeah, he coached there for like 4 or 5 years, didn't he?
Yeah, then he went from assistant coach at Huntington to a graduate assistant at Alabama for 2 years, and the rest is history. I mean, you see how important.
He was full. He was always an assistant
No, he came back.
He wasn't a full-time coach at Alabama.
That's his first stint.
He came back and was the secondary coach at Alabama.
Okay.
He was at Kentucky. Ansley's been in a lot of places.
Yeah. Well, did he stay with Tennessee, or what happened at Tennessee?
I don't know where he is.
Did Ansley stay at Tennessee, Mike?
I think he went to the NFL.
No, Ansley's the secondary coach with San Diego Chargers.
Oh, okay.
That's where the kid from Goshen went, Derek
He'll
Foster.
never have to worry about a job. Either he coached at college or he coached in the pros.
But you know, you get the point I was making, don't you? That if you get one of these graduate assistant jobs at Alabama, there's only 2 of them. Your ticket's written in the future. So he went from being paid as a coach at Huntington to being a student again, not getting paid. But that he parlayed that into where he is today. I mean, just because you have on your resume that you were a graduate assistant under Nick Saban at Alabama.
I'd just like to get a job at Tuscaloosa polishing all that crystal they have up there. It's the largest concentration of crystal in the state of Alabama is located in Tuscaloosa in the trophy cases, by the way.
Troy has gotten where they're giving up new coaches every year. And, of course, that's a compliment to the staff that he put together there. Wouldn't you say?
Yep, I would say that.
In fact, it would not surprise me if they didn't hire Ben Blackman at Troy, Mike. He would be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on
that South Alabama area over there.
I don't know. We never got any players out of Spanish sport. And Blackman was at Troy for 3 years. I'm just kind of surprised we didn't get more.
Well, Ben wasn't at Troy, but the other, yeah, you're right.
Who's the?
Here's Ansley's background. Derek Ansley. This is a potential head coach at Troy one day. Not saying it's going to be anytime soon, but a future head coach, possibly Cannon. Huntington from 2005 to 2009, defensive back coach. He was at Alabama from 2010. 2011, graduate assistant. He was the Tennessee defensive back coach in 2012. He was the Kentucky defensive back coach from 2013 to 2015. He was the Alabama defensive back coach from 2016 to 2017. He went to coach with John Gruden in the Oakland Raiders, defensive back coach on 2018. He was defensive coordinator, defensive back coach at Tennessee from 2019 to 2020, and now he's the Los Angeles Chargers defensive back coach.
Well, he was at Huntington through 2009, which our new coach at Charles Henderson probably played at Huntington in that same period. So,
how is this guy not a serious candidate? I know he interviewed for the Troy job when Lindsey got him. This guy's got to be a serious candidate one day, regardless what happens with Lindsey. If he stays at Troy and
you just said it.
Or decides to take another job somewhere else.
He'll be at the top of the list if in the future, I would think. Yeah, with that resume.
You talk about
Ansley.
I'm calling Ansley's background. Ansley's background's insane.
Yeah, he's been with a lot of people, hasn't he?
But he was a good recruiter. A lot of these great players at Alabama that just finished up, like 11 possible first-round draft choices. Who was recruiting those guys? One of them was Henry Ruggs. Derek Ansley recruited Henry Ruggs to Alabama.
Well, it's going to be interesting who the next hire is at Troy, and I think it'll be a big call here. And,
they don't have to make the call now. We have a head football coach, but I'm just saying this guy's a potential coach one day in the future, regardless of what happens, I guess, if Lindsey, decides to stay or go or whatever happens.
I'll tell you another one is the Ohio State quarterback coach.
Yeah.
I mean, on down the road 5 or so years.
Wouldn't that be something? That'd be something if he got it.
Corey Dennis.
He'll have the credentials on it.
Corey Dennis.
Yeah, credentials is a big part of it.
Hey, listen, he might better stay at Ohio State.
Does he want to go coach in the pros with his father-in-law? He might want to go coach in the Jacksonville Jaguars. Boy, what a life that kid's going to have. He don't have to worry about a thing.
I know it. He really does. Oh, man. The best thing ever happened to him was when he went to the volleyball match, when he first got to Georgia Tech, and he saw this pretty girl, and he went over there and started talking to her, and now they're married, got 2 or 3 children.
And one of the boys' name's Troy.
And his name, Mike, is
Corey Dennis.
Corey Dennis.
And Corey Dennis, and Corey Dennis is a fine young man, and more power to him.
Exactly. He is. He'll be one of the most famous Trojans one day.
Oh yeah.
I remember.
That's right.
The year I gave up football at the middle school, that next August, this kid walked into the office, and I went straight to Robin. I said, "Robin, the Lord is looking out for you. You ought to see who's in the office registering for class." It was Corey Dennis.
You could tell he was an athlete right away.
Ain't no he was about 6 foot then, it looked like, but he was a clean-cut kid, very good athlete.
Good kid, you're right.
I think he played basketball
and they tell you something here, he named one of his kids Troy.
That's right.
I like that.
Yeah, and so he must have a fond...
Well, his daddy's a great leader, and then he's played and coached at learned from all these great leaders. And his father-in-law is Urban Meyer, and the Ohio State coach is impressive to me too that he's learning from right now.
Of the week of the national championship game, he was getting all kind of compliments from all the former quarterbacks who were Heisman candidates at the time. Coach Day was praising his name, but Haskins and who's the guy that Fields, they all have given Corey a lot of credit toward their success as their
really?
quarterback. Corey Dennis.
Corey Dennis?
There was an article in the paper about it.
You like it, Dak, because he's a Crow Hill kid. You got Charles Bradshaw, didn't he live on Crow Hill? He went to Florida.
Yeah.
Corey Dennis lived on Crow Hill. He went to Georgia Tech. Hunter Hamrick was an All-American golfer at Alabama. He lived on Crow Hill. There was a Collins kid that played linebacker at Alabama, lived on Crow Hill.
I think y'all need a sign put up.
Former
alumni of Crow Hill.
Who are some other great athletes that live on Crow Hill?
Bill O'Rourke, my friend Bill O'Rourke, I Facebook him all the time. He was on the Charles Henderson basketball team with Scott Rainey and Chuck Norris and L.K. Hooton and Benny Thomas.
Larry Bradshaw. Y'all didn't mention Bradshaw.
He missed him.
Yeah, Bradshaw himself, yeah, and Larry Blake, he played at Auburn. He lived on Crow Hill.
He played 2 sports at Auburn.
But Don Maestri played at Southern Miss. He lived on Crow Hill.
Coached at Battle.
That's right.
Oh boy, you're right.
We got to get Coach Maestri. We got to get Coach Maestri in the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame. Everybody, that's my new
Is
project.
it just because Crow Hill's close to the university? Is that why we have so many people?
Probably.
That'd be a good place to live.
It's probably
Working for.
Because they're friends of the guy that founded the place.
Well, aren't you living in the first house that was on Crow Hill?
No, their original house was the first. Yeah, the original house was the first house on Crow Hill.
What year was that house built?
In 1972 or 3, somewhere around that, 72 or 73.
What is the original house there?
Yeah, and I built the house, the first house up there, and we had to come in the back way, by way of the Pines Restaurant at the time, and then we built the street. My house was the first house on the street. Then the house where I live in now is probably 4 or 5 houses were built before this.
One of my favorite places to eat of all time in Troy was Nelson's by the lake.
Right, yeah.
And the
was
Pines.
really good.
Golly.
You had to cook a steak. You know?
It was Nelson's by the lake, and then it became the Pines. But I mean, everybody still, old timers still call it Nelson's by the lake. Yeah, that's right. And we went. My dad. It was a circuit of restaurants, or my mom too. We went out every weekend, and it was Nelson's by the lake, Mossy Grove Schoolhouse Restaurant, or the Country Kitchen. Really, were the 3.
And what
Oh,
I would save my money, and I would take, if I wanted to impress a date, I'd take her to Nelson's by the lake. It might have been the Pines then, but
it became a bar for a while too, didn't it? Remember that?
Oh yeah, we had a guy that wandered through the woods one night. And one of our neighbors' dead. Scared everybody to death.
I'm glad he didn't wander into the lake.
You remember that? Somehow he made it all the way through those woods.
Yeah.
To Mr. Wilson's death.
Well, I'm proud of the restaurants we've got now. Big Ray's. Also, we've got like you said, one of the best restaurants in town is down there on the railroad tracks, and we don't talk enough about him. He's got a good restaurant.
Well, the half shell came along, and then it's become an institution. Before that was the half shell, there was another oyster place on the square that my dad and our family and Judge Green was Dad's best friend, and they loved shucking oysters, and they would go to this place in downtown. It always had about a 71 rating from the health department, but we went down there and they had good oysters.
Yeah.
now didn't the half shell used to be right across on 231, across from Hardy's, kind of?
Yeah.
The original half shell, wasn't it on 231 on the left?
Yeah.
On the other side of it.
Right.
Yeah.
I heard the one of the all-time greats opens back up today. Mr. Ho's Chinese food.
Yes, they do.
Oh.
11 o'clock.
Yeah.
I didn't miss that one.
Oh,
Mr. Hose is opening again?
today at 11.
Well,
Hey, let me
11
tell you
to
this.
that should have been the lead of the show.
I'm excited about that.
I mean, that was like a can't miss on a Sunday. You had to go to Mr. Ho's. Originally, it was located next to McDonald's over there on 231, and they moved it to that location.
It's at the original location and everything.
Is it the original family and owners, or what's the deal?
I think it's one of the original chefs or cooks, is what I heard.
All right.
It's opening it up. So,
Well, it was the Country Kitchen was hot, Mary Finley's, and then
That's turning into a nightclub.
And then the half shell came along, and then now Sisters is nationally known. Crow's Chicken is nationally or statewide known. Hook's Barbecue is developing a huge reputation. Troy's been blessed with fantastic restaurants through the years.
Somebody said there's a new hibachi grill or something near CGI.
Yes, it's on the right. It's called Trojan Hibachi, maybe. It's on the right before you get to Southside Baptist Church.
Yeah, buddy, he went there the other day. He went there the other day and said it was really good.
Who did? Who went the other day?
A buddy of mine went there and told me about it. I'd never heard of it.
Church's Chicken is been built now where the original Crow's Chicken was located. And,
boy, Troy's got the chicken places, man. You got KFC, you got Church's, you got Popeyes,
Goldfingers,
our sponsor, which is the best. You got Crow's. I mean, my goodness.
I tell you what, that it's hard to beat Goldfingers. It is really hard to beat Goldfingers.
I think Jack's has fried chicken.
They do.
They do.
Popeyes.
But now, y'all were talking about the chicken place, new chicken place going up. It's been in Troy 2 or 3 different times. It didn't make it. This is I want to say the 3rd time.
Well, where the Baskin Robbins place is, that was kind of a cramped location to me.
That was
right there, close to Waffle House, and but it was too cramped.
Yeah.
But
I'll tell you where you would think IHOP or something would go there. Is right across the street from well, gosh, it was right across the street from
You talking where the Country's Barbecue was?
No, it was
By across from Hobby Lobby, they're saying.
I don't know what's going there. Do you know?
I do not.
Do you know any of the stores that are going there?
There is an out parcel. Somebody told me there's going to be a steak restaurant in front of that new shop center, but that's as they say, that is not confirmed. That's rumor.
Courtyard by Marriott is what I'm talking about. The lot right across the street from Courtyard Marriott. That place there would be a perfect place for a big restaurant.
Would it have enough parking?
And evidently they can't get together on the price or whatever. But
don't they already have a Ruby Tuesdays right there?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, but it's up higher. See, it's up. Ruby Tuesdays is out there on the road. This is right across, right there across from.
Kind of across from Rodeo too.
I remember.
I feel like they eventually got to build like some sports bars or bars near the university so these kids don't have to drive anywhere.
Well, I've heard the old wood furniture has been sold. Don't quote me, but there's going to be a sports bar type thing going on.
Alan Wood owns that. Did he sell it?
Alan, I tell you what, hey, listen, his daddy has just rolled over in his grave.
Well, whether or not I believe there's something going on there that's going to be like
I haven't even been in it, but Alan did a tremendous amount of work to beautify that building.
As a
really
bridal reception area.
He's one of my favorite people, Alan Wood, and I go way back. And whatever he does, good luck to him, you know.
He's a good musician, too.
Mm-hmm.
I know, he's a good guy.
He owned the...
between two defenders.
He had, remember Lester's Flat was an old, well-known bar going out on the Banks Highway, and Alan owned that at one time, I think.
Oh, yeah. And Lester's Flat was you talk to Kenny Campbell and some of those guys, they just loved Lester's Flat.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take another break. We want to thank the Witherton Insurance Group for being one of our sponsors, along with Troy Regional Medical Center, located on US 231. And we'll be back in just a few moments with Today in LA.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Our history is woven with the stories of those we serve. At Max, we've been a good community partner for 65 years. Max is dedicated to providing dependable financial services and to supporting our communities. we volunteer our time and share our resources. As a credit union, we've returned millions of dollars back to our members, local nonprofits, and small businesses. Max is honored to be a part of your story. We look forward to serving you for years to come.
Hi, Sandy. I'm right here. Come on in.
Daddy, I'm right here. Miss Mary, I'm right here. I'm right here.
Since 1969, we've been right here because at Troy Regional Medical Center, we take these words to heart.
I'm right here.
Thank you. Remarkable people, remarkable care.
Here at Bill Jackson Chevrolet in Troy, we've been doing business the right way for 31 years. But don't take our word for it. We feel our customers express it the best.
Been honest in everything we've discussed with them.
When they said Jackson satisfaction, they really mean it.
The Jackson satisfaction is real.
Welcome back to Today in L.A. I'm Forrest Lee, and this is Bill Rice. And on the phone we have Mike Amos calling in from Panama City Beach, and his son Michael calling in from Grayton Beach. We have an announcement. The Boy Scouts Troop 41 here in Troy, Alabama is having a fundraiser tomorrow at Zaxby's. They get 10% of all the proceeds that are sold tomorrow. So please, or from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., that's tomorrow at Zaxby's. It benefits the Boy Scouts of America Troop 41. 10% of their proceeds will go to their Eagle Scout projects.
You're talking about chicken places. There's another one.
Yeah. Hey, what is Zaxby's is coming out with a big chicken sandwich I saw. They're trying to get the chicken sandwich mix.
Well, the chicken sandwich can change a whole business.
And I like chicken at Hooks.
The new chicken place in town, is it just somebody from outside or somebody from inside?
Let me talk to commercial real estate tycoon Blake Crow. He's high on his perch in Birmingham, probably watching us as we speak.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you.
Congratulations to Prime Time Deion Sanders. Big win for Jackson State over the weekend over NAIA program Edward Waters. Jackson State won 53-0, and Deion Sanders head coach in WU.
And did they say he lost his ring?
He claims that the locker room got burglarized after the game. A lot of people had stuff stolen.
But the university's the university's not totally does not totally concur with that story.
Anyway, I was listening to Sports Talk Radio coming into the show, and that was the conversation. It wasn't that in his press conference after his first college coaching victory, Deion led it with how upset he was that he had been robbed in the coaching office some point during the game, and he just went on and on and on about the alleged theft. He was trying to make a point about how disappointing it is that people would do this. But so it kind of the theft storyline overshadowed the big victory.
I would imagine that stadium he plays in Jackson, that's where Ole Miss used to play games. I would imagine Jackson State Stadium is pretty big.
I think they were on the road,
over
though.
50,000 people. Alabama and Alabama used to play Mississippi State and Ole Miss there every year. When they play them at home.
Kind of like their version of Crampton Bowl or Legion Field.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And they had that 50,000 plus seats in Jackson. What's the date right now? What's the date out there?
22nd.
February
22nd day of
Mike, we were
of February, and we're just by the end of this week, Troy will be in spring practice, Mike.
That's right.
We were talking off the air about the COVID news, and the big headline I saw in the last couple of days was a story that got a lot of attention in the Wall Street Journal from a physician from Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore. He's of the opinion that herd immunity is fast approaching and may well be here by April. Now, if you have herd immunity, that typically means that 70% of the population, approximately, has already had the virus, and thus the virus basically can't spread anymore because so many people are naturally immune. So this doctor is predicting that, which I thought was interesting, because on this show 70 days ago, back in mid-December, I said, watch out, this could happen by early spring. You know, there's so many people getting the virus, and then you're leaving the seasonal cold and flu season. I said I wouldn't be surprised if by, you know, early spring, April or May, the virus is basically gone. And I guess people probably laughed at me and scoffed at me, but at least now there's somebody in the Wall Street Journal that said it, and it was the lead story on the Drudge Report, you know, for a couple of days. So anyway, that's good news if he's right. Who knows if he's right or if I'm right? But, you know, we might be closer to this being over than people think.
Well, what scares me, though, is that they're not going to take their shots, the virus shots. I'm worried about that. A lot of people are going to think they don't need to take their shot.
I think 1/3 of the military is reluctant to take it or has elected not to take it.
Well, you know, one of the author's points, he makes a good point, that if he's right, a lot of people are getting the vaccine that have already had the virus. This guy says those people do not need to take the vaccine. They're already immune for at least 8 months with T cells and antibodies. Give the vaccine to the people who have not had it. So, and those people that have already had it, they can wait and see and take the vaccine in 5 months or 6 months. But they don't. If you just had the virus, it really doesn't make common sense to get a vaccine when your body's already produced immunity.
But you know, and then everybody's trying to be conscious of taking the vaccines, you know, early and late. And what is that going to do to that program?
Well, I think there's such demand for the vaccine. People are going to keep getting the vaccine, and so I would. That's another good thing. You know, by April or May, right now in Alabama, there's about 4% that is fully of our population that is fully vaccinated.
4.
Yeah,
Oh, boy,
that means that you've had both shots and you've waited the 10 or 14 days before it kicks in and does its thing. Well, by April or May, you know, that number is going to be what?
8.
Well, 15, 20. So if the vaccine works, you have even more people immune than are naturally. The main point is that there's a lot more people that have had the virus than we know. All we count is confirmed cases, you know, we see on AL.com. Well, you don't know 3 to 5 times is the people that are confirmed have probably had it and never knew they had it. You know, just never got a test. So the true number of people that have been exposed to the virus is many folds higher than the 11% that or 10% that have been confirmed to have it.
I would love to see them get those totals and get the facts behind all that. That's I want to mention that this show is brought to you by Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram Truck. Remember, nobody beats the Premier deal. Nobody.
Do you want to remind everyone?
More about this.
Pardon?
Yeah. What were we going to remind everybody of?
I was going to remind everybody today at 1 o'clock, the Lady Trojans of Charles Citizen High School will be playing Carroll of Ozark girls at Garrett Coliseum in Montgomery at 1 o'clock. The winner advances to the Final Four. Congratulations to Coach Jones and her Lady Trojans, and of course, Carroll's in our listening area.
I tell you what, if she makes the Final Four again, that will just be unbelievable. I mean, the coaching she has done. I mean, she lost so many great players again last year. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Is there a chain of players, or where they come from?
It's like 2 each year are real good players. Like one of our best players is like I think a 9th grader or 10th grader, and she's a point guard. But I don't know how many seniors she has. I'll try to research that roster.
Nora went to Belmont. The big girl she's 6'3", 6'4", went to Troy.
Yeah.
And then I want to say somebody else got signed last year off that team as well. I mean,
there was one girl that was going to sign with the Air Force Academy, but whether or not she's there, but her daughter Tootie, you know, is like one of the leading scorers for Belmont. And,
I went to the
sensation up there.
I went to Bo Coppage's convenience store this morning to get some gas, and somebody in there was talking about the Charles Henderson grad that went to Troy, and I think he was saying that she was starting already. I haven't confirmed that, but she was.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm wondering why keeping her away from taking a college job. She's really done a wonderful job.
Well, she has a son who's a ninth grader who's real good.
Yeah, eventually she's going to want to get close to her daughter up in Tennessee, probably.
Yeah. She's got a son, Braylon, who is a freshman that plays on the JV team, and he's very good. Yeah, yeah, he's very good. Braylon Jones.
Well, the boys team is pretty good, and they're young. They were young last year. They're young this year. So the future for next year, Charles Henderson's boys team ought to be really good.
Their JV, I think, went like 13-4 or 13-2. They're just fast, quick, smart.
They've got good coaching at both levels.
That's right. Tim Faison coaches that team.
You know, they did that at Jeff Davis when Posey, the legendary basketball coach Terry Posey, retired at Jeff Davis. They hired the women's coach to coach the varsity at Jeff Davis. She had won 3 state championships at JD, and she replaced Posey.
And coach the boys?
Hey, anything for a winner. You're right.
Yeah.
Well,
you're gonna see that one day at the college level. There's gonna be a female coach. They'll end up coaching a varsity men's boys team in college, I'm sure.
Ron Ramsey?
Why not? Yeah. If you can coach, you can coach.
Well, I tell you, a big game tomorrow night. Troy and UAB is a good baseball rivalry. You need to go ahead and get your tickets and buy you a season tickets to Troy University baseball. I tell you, you're going to see some great baseball this year from Troy University. And this game tomorrow is a big-time game. What'd you say, Mike?
Well, you know, they've always struggled with UAB, so that's always tough. And then, you know, we talk to Coach Smart all the time about how important the midweek games are for fans when you play rivals like Jack State, UAB, Alabama, Auburn. Can you find somebody to pitch during the middle of the week? Because you save all your arms for the weekend. So I don't know how they'll do it. I don't know if they'll try to pitch by committee, pitch several guys, like 1 inning, or if they'll try to find a guy to pitch 4 or 5 innings, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, Forrest is going to be out there covering local issues, and we appreciate him very much. And Bill Rice Jr., you're doing a super job. I love the format that we got right now, and we're awfully proud of what's going on in our local and our college sports. We're going to keep you up on that. Hope to try to get you some information on Luverne and Brantley and some of those schools, Goshen, of course. We want to make sure in Pike County that we give good coverage on them, too. So it's going to be a great year, and we're looking forward to it.
Right. Well, the Luverne
also,
girls...
over the weekend, Alabama barely beat Vanderbilt basketball. They won 82-78. Nate Oates is now 13-1. Alabama, I think, got to win 2 more games to win the SEC outright, but not playing their best basketball right now.
And Auburn...
They won, but Vanderbilt's the worst team in the SEC, and they only won by 4.
Auburn got trounced by LSU 104-80. That's their worst loss of the season.
That's hard to believe.
You go back to...
What happened to Auburn? What's happened to Auburn?
I know it.
I don't know. It seems like they kind of figured out how to guard Cooper, and he's not playing as well as he was playing when he first started out. But you know, they have him as the 9th pick in the NBA draft.
So he's liable to go, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's definitely going. Why would he not?
He's the 9th pick.
We're talking about the little point guard that got all the sit out.
The kid that wasn't eligible most of the year. Yeah, I got
you. You can see he's got a lot of potential and talent. I've noticed that Colin Sexton, that was a one-and-done phenom in Alabama, he's doing really, really good in the pros now.
24 points a game. He's doing great.
Golly,
I didn't know.
I don't know. Maybe Latrell's pretty well, but Alabama's never had a former player that scored that many points in the NBA.
Yeah. Of course, this show is brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines in Troy, Alabama, one of the great truck lines in America. Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, Troy, Alabama.
We've got Horn Beverage Company, also one of the great sponsors of this show.
Great people. Boy, they're great people.
Bird Drug Company on downtown on the square. My favorite place to eat breakfast.
Yeah, I tell you
The
what,
UPS store.
I promise you'll eat breakfast there tomorrow. How about that?
All right. And big baseball game today, weather permitting. Pike Liberal Arts will host Glenwood at 5 p.m. on the campus of Troy University. The golf team opens up at noon today, weather permitting, at the Troy Country Club. And the Lady
I tell you what,
Patriots.
I tell you what would be a good fundraiser would be somebody that sell a hot chocolate or a hot coffee out there tonight.
I'm tired of all this. I'm tired of all this great weather and rain. Yeah, I want to see some sunshine. And don't y'all think that with COVID fatigue and all these outdoor sports, that there's going to be some people that want to get outside, and you can go to a baseball game and spread out and not be worried about and get some sun.
Looks like great weather in Troy. Troy's hot today, 68 and partly sunny.
There you go.
Oh, okay. Well,
The golf course will be open tomorrow. Till next, come play golf with us tomorrow.
Listen to this. Fourth league's going to have to work. High Tuesday 70, high Wednesday 73, high Thursday 73.
Turn off the heater.
There you go.
Country club is going to be busy, don't you think?
It's
good.
Come on. I want to let's play a foursome one day.
I'm going to challenge, what is it say? I'm going to challenge, as far as Lee, to a golf game.
We'll it'll be the Amos boys versus Rice and Lee.
That'd be an ugly foursome right there.
I tell you
Play
what,
baseball.
I have to go out there with my approach iron. That's probably the only thing I could hit.
Well, if you need clubs, go to Mike's garage.
Well,
Hey, Dad,
If you need a hat.
I went to Dad's golf buying place down here over the weekend, and you might want to head down there, Dad. They had a lot of clubs.
Oh, I know it. That's great bags, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about great bags.
And Mike can bring us a hat each to keep the sun off our head.
I love that
I tell
Masters
you
hat.
what, it is amazing the clubs that place has. I'm always shocked when I see how many. I mean, if anybody wanted a set of golf clubs, you get a set of golf clubs for like $20.
Well, here's what happens is people spend all this money on golf, and then they say, I got to save money somewhere. What do you give up? You give up an expensive sport like golf, and then you sell your clubs. I've done it before. And then,
Mike, I could actually get into golf club business, buying clubs from down there. You could actually get into. I was there on Friday. They had at least 7 bags in the back, and they were all decent clubs.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to come to a close. We want to thank you for joining us on Today in L.A. With Mike Amos. He's on the phone from Panama City Beach. His son Michael is in Grayton Beach. This is Bill Rice, and I'm Forrest Lee. Join us for the replay today at 1:30 of this show. You can find us on Facebook as well, and I believe YouTube. But thank you for joining us today. Have a great day. Support your local high schools and Troy University. And let's have a great Monday morning afternoon.
And wherever
We'll see
you
you
are,
tomorrow.
go Trojans.